Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into the powerful themes of the acclaimed novel Amar Bail. It's a story that really explores the tangled and, let's be honest, often destructive relationships between people, power, and the systems that bind all of us. Now, to really get this story, you have to start with the title itself, Amar Bail. It isn't just a name. Nope, it is the core metaphor, a vine that wraps itself around every single character and every single plot point. And this simple biological fact, it becomes this incredibly potent symbol for the entire story. Just think about that for a second. A vine that basically loves its host to death. It absolutely cannot live without it, but in the end, its embrace is totally destructive. And this right here is the central question the novel forces us to confront. Is it about a corrupt system that's just feeding on its own people? Or maybe it's the suffocating weight of family expectations? Or could it be about a love so consuming that it becomes its own kind of parasite? We're going to see this play out through the lives of two really unforgettable characters. So let's see how this whole metaphor takes root in our two main characters. First up, meet Eliza Sikander. She comes from a well-to-do family, but she's just adrift. She's searching for a sense of herself in a world that's already decided exactly who she's supposed to be. Wow. You can just feel her invisibility in that line, right? She's like a ghost in her own life, just floating between obligations and expectations with no real purpose of her own. She is the seeker. And then we have Umar Jahangir, and he is the complete opposite, a total force of nature. He's the rebellious son of a really powerful diplomat born into the very elite system that he absolutely despises. This really gets to the heart of his conflict. On the surface, yeah, he's the charming, witty product of his environment. But underneath all that, he's a police officer who has declared a one-man war on the rot he sees all around him, fighting the system from the inside. See, Umar is actively rejecting the destiny that's been laid out for him. He doesn't want the power, he doesn't want the prestige, he just wants the freedom to dismantle the very world that created him. And this isn't just some abstract idea for him. He puts it into direct and very dangerous action. Okay, for example, take this football scandal he uncovers. Foreign NGOs come in, supposedly to help child laborers, but what are they really doing? They're gathering data to blackmail local businesses. It's a deeply, deeply cynical operation where the language of social justice is basically weaponized for corporate greed. So what happens when Eliza, the seeker, meets Umar, the rebel? Well, it is not your typical romance. It's an intense ideological collision. He sees her passivity, her just kind of going along with things, and he challenges it at every single turn. He doesn't just give her answers, he pushes her hard to find them for herself. He's urging her to stop being just a passive observer in her own life and to develop her own judgment, her own perspective on the world. He presents her with his very unsentimental, almost ruthless pragmatism. To him, if something isn't working, whether it's a system, a relationship, or an idea, you just discard it and replace it. Simple as that. But this is where Eliza's entire worldview just slams into his. She holds on to things, she values connection, she values history. This simple exchange, it reveals the fundamental difference between them, and it kind of foreshadows the entire emotional core of her journey. So as Eliza starts to find her voice in journalism and Omar digs deeper and deeper into the system's corruption, they learn a very hard lesson. When you push against a corrupt system, it pushes back hard. The threats against Umar just escalate dramatically. He's facing pressure from politicians, from his own family, from his superiors in the police force. You know, they don't want to fix the machine, they just want him to stop pointing out that it's broken. But he refuses. And then events just spiral with terrifying speed. After one final warning, he accepts a dinner invitation. It seems like a totally normal thing to do. But it's a trap. On the way there, his car is ambushed, and Umar is killed in a calculated, brutal assassination. The system that he fought so hard against, it finally silenced him. And this brings us right back to our central metaphor, that unshakable vine of Amar Bail. Umar is gone, but the vine, it remains, and it's clinging tighter than ever before. So what does this vine truly represent in the end? Well, the novel suggests it's not just one thing. It's a really complex web of forces that define us, and sometimes destroy us. So, is the Amar Bail the corrupt system that killed Omar? Or is it the weight of family that Eliza feels? How about the consuming, inescapable grip of the love that now clings to her memory? The novel suggests it could be all of these things at once.
Umar's death, as tragic as it is, becomes the catalyst for Eliza's true awakening. The host that he provided her, his worldview, his strength, is now gone. The vine has nothing left to cling to, and so she is forced, finally, to stand on her own.
And this question, right here, this reveals her ultimate transformation. For the very first time, she isn't asking what other people want from her, she's asking who she is for herself. She has moved from being that passive seeker to a survivor forged in the fire of this tragedy.
And that's the question Amar Bail leaves us wrestling with. Omar may be gone, but his influence, that vine of his memory, is now intertwined with Eliza's very being. It doesn't suffocate her anymore. It's become a part of her, a source of painful strength. And it makes us ask ourselves, what are the vines that cling to us, and how do they shape who we become?